Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to the alpha for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today we head back to Dargonis to see what's going on with the Navigators. That's something I'm looking forward to, because a lot of the story for that stuff is set up in Act 1, which they will not be including in the early access build, so this is our best chance to find out what it's all about. But of course, first we have to clear Odanithus 11. So let's get that done. Oh wow, no encounter. Interesting. Lord Captain, Drukhari ships are patrolling the system. The likelihood of slipping past their patrols unnoticed is close to 0. I'll be the judge of that. Though, more seriously, as we saw last time around, these guys are bad news, so I'm really not eager to pick a fight with 4 separate Drukhari patrols. Though I do notice that there's a different number of ships in each patrol, so if this one is only 1 ship, we might be able to knock it out pretty easily. You failed to get past the enemy ships unnoticed. The nearest Drukhari ship attacks at once. Get ready, others will soon join in. Oh, well, that's a problem.
The skeins of fate can lead us to victory.
Right shield's out. Hull at 80. And there are 2 here. So the number of ships shown in the actual patrol graphic are meaningless. It's just cosmetic. That's misleading. Though, to be fair, if they've got reinforcements coming in anyway, I guess that's somewhat moot. About the only real advantage we would have gotten is that if it was a single ship, we might have been able to finish it off before reinforcements arrive. Arc Augury. That's new. Plus 2 extra range. Interesting. Right, because we gained a level after that last fight. So the ship level unlocks new crew abilities. Right, yeah, I guess I already knew that, because that's where Abelard's thing came from, the right angle turns.
Onward!
That one's going to hit us from behind, but hopefully our rear shields will take the brunt of it.
Annihilate them! Set the course. Macro cannons, volley!
Nice, nice. Not a ton of damage, but we got some decent hits in there. Fingers crossed. Ah, he hit the left shields. Okay. Hull at 60. We've got torps on that guy, so let's gain some distance, then tag this one. Oh no! I used all our action points. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I guess that's the downside to having all these cool new options. You only have so many action points to burn each turn.
Fire the lance batteries!
Alright, well, I'm pretty sure we're going to blow up anyway.
Lay in the course.
Yep, there's our reinforcements, though it's a cute little baby Drukhari ship this time.
We need to restart the void shields.
Oof, they still hit pretty hard. 3-shot salvo, 13 damage average per shot, quarter shield pen. Let's see how fragile they are. Hey, okay. So not only are they very fragile, but they also don't have that weird mirror field.
Unleash our vengeful salvo.
Oh boy, this is not great for us. Okay, we'll hook left, take out the escort, warp wiggle the big guy, and hopefully we can avoid taking too much damage. Pretty sure the other dark mirror is going to tag us from behind, though.
Another salvo.
Nice hits. Now the little guy. I want to save the forward guns for the big ship.
Leave their hull strewn across the stars.
I like that the escorts are called Immortality Denied. Very fitting for the most expendable ships in their fleet.
Set the course. Another salvo. Lead them.
Nice. Looked like it missed, but we actually hit. Oh, but I forgot to warp wiggle. Yeah, can't do it now, so we are definitely going to explode. I think this fight is actually doable. You just need, you need solid tactics and a fair bit of luck. I guess it also really depends on how many more reinforcements show up. And if they're all escorts, or if they throw more dark mirrors in the mix.
We're helpless under their fire. Do something.
Yeah. We are very dead. Saw that coming, but that's fine. That's fine. You know, I think this fight might be doable, but we're not going to beat our head on it right now. We've got more interesting things to do. So what we will do instead is see if we can snake these planets. A lot of them are well away from the patrols, so in theory, we might be able to scan them without picking a fight. Most of them. I'm not sure about that one that overlaps. Ash World. Salvage. Ooh, Archaeotech. We'll take that. Still no idea what we actually do with those things, but I will continue collecting them. Jungle World. nothing. And we'll take a pass on Desert World for now. That one just looks too risky. But I might come back here later. I might come back here once we've gained another level or two on the ship. Obviously, this would be a lot easier if they had the full ship upgrade system implemented, but right now I think literally the only way we can increase our ship power is by picking easier fights, so we can unlock additional crew powers for the tougher ones. Okay, back to Dargonis. Face-seeding flowers, sure. That's one of the tamer warp events. We'll take the safer route. Oh. Lord Captain, our astropads received a message from Achilles Scalander on Dargonis. He closely studied the data from the incursion on Viabos 6, including the mention of the Xenos leaders. He promised to direct the efforts of his aides to identify those enemies of humanity, so their location can be determined. Master Scalander is also reporting the Drukhari are getting ready for more attacks on your territory. Information from his aides continues to arrive, and Achilles will personally report to you the moment the target for the upcoming raid becomes clear. The Drukhari excel at catching their opponents off guard, and there will be little time to mount a response. According to Master Scalander, your personal participation in the defense would be the best strategy, given the circumstances. Right. So we're on alert to receive more alerts. And once again, no events. Nice. This part could use some work. There needs to be a faster way to get in and out of your throne room. Though, forcing us to come in the long way every time might imply that at some point we'll face ambushes going in or coming out. But even then, that's something they could circumvent by just interrupting your travel, your fast travel. Not a huge deal, I suppose. It didn't actually take that long, but, you know. Just one of those things you think about when you're running across a map. Let's see if Scalander has anything for us. He does not. Fair enough. Your lordship? Clementia looks away from her data slate. I hope your stay on Dargonis will be beneficial to your physical and mental state. I understand that the heir to a trade empire must have his hands full, but one shouldn't forget about rest. Yes, plenty of time for that later. But what of this meeting with the navigators of House Orselio? Clementia immediately focuses on the data slate in her hands. Allow me to report. The esteemed navigators of House Orselio have taken residence in the guest estate, and await a meeting with you. How would you like to receive them? Make arrangements for a reception worthy of the refined tastes of the Navis Nobilite. Understood, your lordship. Clementia promptly makes a note on her data slate. Would you like to hold this meeting shortly? Indeed. Cassia and I are ready for these talks. Very well, then I'll have messengers sent to retrieve the esteemed guests. Oh, sure, they get an arrival cutscene. Regent Toronto Orselio, esteemed delegation, the Rogue Trader and the Von Valancius Trade Empire welcome you. Come this way, please. The esteemed representatives of the Navis Nobilite have arrived at the Rogue Trader's court. The regent of the great house Orselio, Aranto Orselio. His companions, Lady Glyceria Orselio, Navigator Liso Simon Orselio, and his intended bride, Lady Navigator Alexandrina Orselio, Lady Navigator Elino Hataria Orselio, and someone else. A tall, wizened old man proudly stares at you with milky, unblinking eyes. Loose skin sways with his every move, as if the navigator's flesh is detached from his bones. An unsightly hole mars the regent's face where his nose should be, and the old man's skull is covered with spiky growths. Rogue Trader. The regent's piercing voice cuts through the silence. On behalf of House Orselio, I would like to express our immense satisfaction at this meeting, and our gratitude for the warm welcome. It pleases us to know there are still lords in the Coronis Expanse who observe etiquette and traditions of hospitality. And yet this is not why we are here. Our Grace is obliged to note how much the Rogue Trader has done for House Orselio by protecting its beloved child. We waited for many turns to behold her radiant visage. The regent shifts his unblinking gaze to Cassia. Come now, child. There is much we need to discuss. Cassia steps forward, but then stops and looks at you. Go ahead. Cassia smiles faintly and addresses the regent. Esteemed regent, it pleases me to see the gleaming sheen of gold and turquoise above your brow. It is thanks to the effort of the Rogue Trader that I stand here today, and there is so much I want to tell you. But what is it you desire to hear most? We know what happened at the station, child. Your connection to the Atlas has grown so strong. We felt the turmoil in your soul, and the events that transpired have shaken us. House Orselio is deeply grateful to the Rogue Trader for the destruction of the saboteurs, and we are willing to reciprocate such a magnanimous gesture. We trust that a treaty of friendship and alliance underpinned by the transfer of several artifacts of exceeding rarity will suffice. Now come, child. It is time we depart for your new home, so that we may finish what we started. Esteemed Regent, perhaps I could continue my education while still accompanying the Rogue Trader on his travels? Just imagine how much I could learn beyond the bounds of... Cassia notices the Regent's furious glare and falls short. Oh, we're on thin ice. Cassia, I would be honored if you did decide to stay. Unthinkable!
Keep fighting.
Don't just stand there! Help the Rogue Trader defend the child! Down with Tisiphone's tyranny! Kill the girl!
Take a knee and bow before me. You dare cross the faithful.
Well, that escalated quickly. But apparently, Lady Navigator Elina is some sort of traitor? I will say, though, I really feel like she could have chosen a better moment to reveal that than in my literal place of power. Well, let's teach her the error of her ways. Can't say much for her staying power, but at least she led from the front.
Nothing I can't do.
Uh-oh. Are we bugging out here? Well, this is unfortunate. Hey, there we go. Not entirely sure where that guy ended up, but at least we can keep going. Let's trim these guys down before that happens again.
Was that you? Or...
Oh, you jerk. Come on, guys. You're not going to win this. You're just delaying the inevitable. That works. Ooh. Really? Well, I mean, at least they're not actually killing anyone. Aside from all the people they've already killed.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
All too easy. Another clean strike.
Yikes. These guys are pretty durable. Oh, and we're doing this again. There we go.
To the heretics.
You all right there, buddy? Yeah, he's fine. Oh man, are these guys all rocking bolt guns? I didn't even notice that. Well, they are about to become my bolt guns.
Suits my purposes.
You should have bolted while you had the chance.
Watch and learn. I am fear incarnate. Already done.
Curse you, directional cover.
Not a problem for me. Nothing of value has been lost. Another clean strike.
Nice.
Suits my purposes.
Oh, right. Forgot about you.
All too easy.
Ah. And out of action points. Mercy. The Lady Navigator covers her face with her disfigured, scaly hands, each with an extra finger and conjoined phalangeal bones. Her clothes are covered in blood, mostly that of your servants, and several unexploded bolts are sticking out of her chest plate. Yeah, that's going to encourage someone to surrender quick. Rogue trader, whether on purpose or out of ignorance, you are harboring a monster that is cunningly pretending to be an innocent maid. Spare me, and I, Alina Heteria Orselio, will swear to tell you the whole truth about the madness that is devouring House Orselio like a malignant tumor. Do not let the Regent deceive you with honeyed lies, lest the cursed child ruin your empire as well. You see rage and despair in the Lady Navigator's gaze, but neither is directed at you. Very well. Your fate will be decided by trial, Lady Alina. I will hear what you wish to tell me. Thank you for your lenience, Rogue Trader. Lady Navigator Alina Heteria Orselio is charged with the attempted murder of Novator heir Cassia Orselio, the attempted murder of the Rogue Trader, and the attack on the palace. Let the trial commence. The unnaturally bulbous eyes of the Navigator constantly shift between you and Cassia. Black secretions run down her cheeks instead of tears, leaving unsightly streaks. I, Alina Heteria of House Orselio, swear to tell the Rogue Trader nothing but the truth. May the God Emperor be my witness. Pathetic. You're hardly in a position to judge, Regent Toronto. Not when it was representatives of your house who just made an attempt on Lady Cassia's life. Not to mention my own. Rogue Trader, House Orselio humbly asks you for your lenience and forgiveness. We could not even imagine these vile rats could be scurrying among our ranks. As for them sneaking into the Rogue Trader's palace and staging an unthinkable crime, God Emperor be my witness. The accursed renegades seek to spark a feud between our houses. So you say, but how do I know that your words are not simply another attempt to lead me astray? We are ready to tell you everything we know, so that this misunderstanding can be remedied as quickly as possible. Very well. What do we know about these rebels? They are madmen who seek to destroy the centuries-old traditions of our great house, so carefully nurtured by the previous Novator, Tisiphone Orselio. They deemed the century of her rule a tyranny, and our most sacred relic a curse that must be destroyed. Fools! If the Atlas were to be destroyed, the whole of House Orselio would follow it into oblivion. A relic, you say? Please tell me more. They dread her power, for only a Novator can fully grasp the mysteries and harness the power of the Starway Atlas. What renegades call a leash, we call a guiding star. And what does all this have to do with trying to kill Cassia? Everyone in the house knows the child is the keeper of one true Starway Atlas, which once belonged to our great Novator, Tisiphone Orselio. The ungrateful wretches secretly hated her grace, and when Tisiphone abdicated her responsibilities and set off for parts unknown, they staged a revolt to destroy her successor. So Cassia truly carries this Starway Atlas? We believe it with all our heart. The Novator spent many cycles on the world where the child was born. It is said that everyone who witnessed the miracle of her birth simultaneously departed for a destination known only to the Novator. Tisiphone gave the order and followed them soon after, leaving her precious gift, the Atlas, to Cassia, and therefore marking her as her successor. And it would seem that in the times since, House Orselio has fallen on hard times. The Regent stays silent and then replies, "To call your statement false would be a lie. For many years we managed to maintain the fragile balance within our house. But then, the Novator's departure shook the faith of many. The treasury is empty, the navigators are scattered, the warp routes are scrambled, and many of our allies cannot be reached. Which is why it is so important to complete the child's education. It is Cassia's duty to take Tisiphone's place and lead the house to prosperity. Such is her great destiny." What do you know about Cassia's powers? A special gift for a special child. She was born with it and grew up under its influence. The instability sometimes hampered her education, but we learned to prevent most outbursts. As long as the child remains calm and remains in seclusion, the powers cannot take hold of her mind. Right, yeah, that makes sense. As we've seen, she has incredibly potent empathic abilities, but they never really trained her to deal with it. They just kept her away from other people to avoid incidents. So she really does have no idea what she's doing with those. She's just reacting. The Regent acknowledges you with a nod, and waits for you to continue. Lady Alina, what have you to say about this? I do not know what you wish to learn, but I will start from the very beginning. A long time ago, Tisiphone ascended to the throne of Orselio. She was a daring Novator who brought part of the house to the Coronis, hoping to strengthen our position in the Imperium. The house prospered, but Tisiphone was never satisfied. She went mad in her pursuit of power, seeking more influence, more control. And she saw enemies everywhere, even among her loyal followers. Paranoia was slowly driving Tisiphone insane, and one day she created the Starway Atlas, a relic that is implanted in our bodies at birth. A noose around our necks, our gift and our damnation. Tisiphone used the Atlas to control us, subdue our will, and mold our thoughts. If anyone put a toe out of line, she killed them with a glance. At first, many branches of House Orselio tried to resist her tyranny, and Tisiphone cut them down with extreme brutality. For example, the entire Sethala branch was destroyed, simply because its leaders asked too many questions about the Atlas, and wanted to know the truth about its creation. I see. And what other crimes would you accuse this Lady Tisiphone of committing? Tisiphone's madness weakened the dynasty, and not long ago the Novator vanished. Indeed, her loyal followers lie when they say she chose to retire. The truth is, nobody knows the truth. I hope she's rotting away on one of her secret worlds. Alina finishes with a sneer. Given your claims, I understand why you're so upset with Tisiphone. But what does this have to do with Lady Cassia? Tisiphone passed her Atlas on to her successor before fleeing the house, to a newborn child. We could not surrender the throne to the tyrant's creature. Tisiphone was cunning and treacherous. She must have hatched the entire plan beforehand. Her disappearance, the child, the transfer of the leash. We feared that one day she would be reborn in Cassia's body, and we could not let that happen. So you call Cassia a monster simply because she carries this Atlas? Largely, yes, but there is more. Have you never felt pure, unadulterated disgust while standing close to her? Or perhaps fury or fear? Who but a monster would manipulate the minds and feelings of others? Even more so than Tisiphone herself did. Well, I mean, as we've already established, it seems pretty clear that Cassia can't actually control her powers. She barely even understands them. So really, it more comes down to Alina attributing malice to what is likely just a completely reflexive action on Cassia's part. One thing I don't understand is why you chose to attack here, now. What could have possibly possessed you to draw a rogue traitor into your machinations? Tisiphone always had plenty of opponents, but we were afraid to trust one another. Any of us could be spying for her followers. We saved our strength and dealt the first blow 5 years after the heir was born, striking at one of the estates on Ir Vitri. But the girl survived, and Regent Aranto hid her so far away and guarded so thoroughly, it took us another 13 years to find her. And then another 2 to get into the Regent's good graces and reach Urak 5. Now Cassia is in the spotlight, and the House Council is about to put her on the throne. Surely there is no better time to cut off the serpent's head. I don't know, I feel like you didn't really think that one through. So you confirm that Regent Aranto was not aware of this scheme? Alina clicks her tongue loudly. Regent Aranto is guilty of mass killings, intimidation, inhuman torture, abetting Tisiphone, and raising her heir. His crimes are many, but this one is not among them. I'd love to see his head on the chopping block, but honor prohibits me from slandering him in a trial before the rogue traitor. Oh, well, that is some very specific honor you have there. Well then, I think I've learned all I need. The rogue traitor now knows about the Regent's atrocities and the girl's corruption. I hope I succeeded in warning you about the danger that lurks within Cassia Orselio. Lady Cassia, you too are an injured party in this. What would you do in my place? If I may speak, so many dirty colors have poured from the mouths of those present that I feel covered in filth from head to toe. As the future Novator, I want to bleach them, purify them, and let them go. Heed me. I am the one to blame for what happened today, and I accept full responsibility for the actions of my house. Cassia speaks bravely and openly, though her hands are shaking a little. Vile wretch! Who do you think you are? Will you now start killing those who have displeased you as Tisiphone did before you? The fury in Alina's face gives way to desperation once she realizes what she just said. She slowly reaches for the atlas embedded in her chest, looking at Cassia with obvious fear. Hear us, child. This burden is too heavy for you to shoulder alone. You are not yet ready. I implore you. To settle this conflict, I offer the rogue trader a 100-year contract with House Orselio, committing us to charting the shortest and safest routes for the Von Valancius trade empire within the Coronis Expanse. I will also remain aboard the rogue trader's vessel, and assist him until he decides otherwise, or until duty to the house summons me to the Novator's seat. And what will become of Lady Alina? What price will she pay for her part in this plot? The esteemed regent will put Lady Alina and her people in one of our family jails. She is a House Orselio navigator, after all. There is no need for our precious blood to be spilled. Lady Alina stares at Cassia incredulously with bulging eyes, but remains silent. Her hand restlessly caresses the spot where her atlas is embedded. I accept your most generous offer, Lady Cassia. I'd be a fool not to. Cassia smiles, You have never seen her so open or so radiant. Thank you, Rogue Trader. Regent Aranta remained silent for a long while. So be it. We failed to notice that our child had grown up and become strong. You may stay with the Rogue Trader until the house summons you. His influence is anomalous, but it has served to bring out Blessed Tisiphone's most precious talent. The talent of leadership. Rogue Trader, we are now bound by the terms of the contract. Your representatives may contact House Exsellsior at any time, and we will respond. And one more thing. Protect the child like the apple of your eye. Remember that you have the future Novator of a Navis Nobilite house aboard your vessel. Understood. Gotta say, that actually went quite well for us. Alright, so nothing else from Clementia. Let's have a quick follow-up with Cassie. Which I guess we'll have to do back on the ship. Rogue Trader, it is so fortunate you have come. I admit I was seeking you out myself. After the events on Dargonis, it felt like an anthracite gray mantle had dropped on my shoulders. I spent a long time thinking about our very first meeting and what happened next. And I cannot wait to shake off this dreary color. It was very naive of me to follow in the footsteps of the man who raised me in a gilded cage. And I was deaf to the needs of my own house. But you opened my eyes. As the future Novator, I must gain wisdom and restore House Exsellsior to its former glory, no matter the cost. Cassia touches the place where her atlas is implanted. Thank you. It will be an honor to keep guiding your vessel through the Sea of Souls, for as long as the needs of our dynasties are aligned. Okie dokie, so all's well that ends well. At least until Tisiphone returns, because you just know that's where this is going. That said, we're just past time, so this feels like a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll go ahead and chart a course back to Footfall, so I can restock on mobile extractiums. And we will pick up here next time, as we embark upon what I imagine is the final leg of our Alpha exploration. We'll head due west, see if we can track down our errant Forge World. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, TheoryV23, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.